This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on Union Cabinet decisions. The participants are T.R. Ramachandran, political analyst, and K.V. Prasad, journalist.
The Union Cabinet met today and took a series of decisions which will be impacting a large number of people. First and foremost, as announced in the Union Budget by Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, the government has said that the Vivad Se Vishwas scheme, a scheme which the government wants to bring to attack the tax which have been held up in dispute resolutions. That is one thing they're going to take it forward. The second, of course, is the decision to bring about Pesticide Management Bill, to revise a bill which was last made up in the year 1968. So after 60 years, the government is trying to change this thing and make it more update and in times with the requirement. The third decision that came was the Cabinet approved a Major Ports Authorities Bill, which will replace the Major Ports Trust Act of 1963, and then the introduction of capital into the general insurance companies to the tune of 25,000 crores, and then a series of MOUs, one with Iceland, Sri Lanka with the double taxation avoidance agreement, and with Portugal to set up a national maritime inheritance complex. Mr. Ramachandran, if I were to take you first to the financial issue and the issue which is very important in the budget session, the Union Minister had announced the decision of the government to unlock the money which has been caught up. And today, while discussing and announcing the details, Minister Mr. Javadekar, after the Cabinet, he said there are about 9 lakh crores of sum is stuck in these kind of tax dispute resolutions. Tax disputes which are stuck in tribunals or courts or so various stages that are there. The idea the government wants to is to free up that amount so that by 31st March the revenue comes into the current financial year. And the bill to this effect will be brought forward in the session which is currently on. Parliament reconvenes on March 2nd. A movement is to take forward.
Well, obviously the emphasis of the government is to get as much money that has been locked up in dispute for years to free them so that they can flow into the treasury. I think it's also an indication of the government's intention to rake up as much of resources as possible from wherever they can in the given situation. It is very evident that every effort is being made to gain resources from whichever source the government can make so that it comes in handy in due course. So I think it's a big endeavor. The money locked up is more than 9,000 crores. It's not a small amount by any stretch of imagination.
Yeah. The minister also likened it to another Swachh Bharat campaign, because he said the money which is locked up in tax disputes, not only a lot of time is invested by authorities, but people also spend a lot of time and energy into trying to get to resolution of this thing. And for years, the cases are pending in various places.
I think very significant thing in this is essentially that they want to wrap up this entire process by the end of this financial year, which is March 31st. So every effort is being made to push it through so that the entire scheme of redressal is finished at an early date and the money is made available to the government resources.
Yeah. The minister did also mention the fact that after the scheme was announced in the union budget, the proposal was kept. The minister has had a series of meetings with people and stakeholders and come up with these suggestions based on that, including one of the things was said that if a tax SSC dispute is pending and a lower court or a court of law has given a verdict and that has been challenged by the income tax department, in such cases 50% of the payment can be made by the tax SSC and then the rest can take as it goes forward, because the scheme also envisages that after 31st of March, such amounts will attract a 10% more. So the government is also saying that if people miss this deadline, they'll need to shell more at the later date.
I think that is a burden I think people would like to avoid to the extent possible. But then if they're not able to reach or finalize whatever needs to be done by the 31st of March, by the end of the financial year, then I guess they have to cough up the additional 10%.
Another important bill the government said it is bringing, and since the budget session is on and soon after the recess, is the pesticide management, because the last time the bill was done in 1968 and he said since then a lot of things have changed, so it needs to be rewritten and revised. And somewhere in the year 2008 the bill was introduced in Parliament. It was sent to the standing committee for its examination, and the report was available for the government to draw benefit out of it. And based on that, it has come up with it. The whole purpose is to make safe and effective pesticides so that the farmers get good, not spurious quality, and also all information from open source on the quality of the pesticide and also the effects of it. I think this is, as he described, a very farmer-friendly move by the government.
Very true, but I think this will require a lot of effort to educate the farmer, which is in his interest, because this is something which you cannot use in excess or, in a lower quantity, because the entire effort on the part of the government to first educate the farmer in the use of pesticides and the manner in which it should be used is the first effort target to be achieved in keeping the farmers well informed about this subject, because it can have deleterious impact if you use it in excess. Similarly, the expectations can take a hit if you don't use them in the proper way and in the quantities that it is recommended to you. So I think this is a process where a lot of care will have to be taken to both inform the farmer, educate him in this entire process, and then take it forward.
Yeah, I think the Minister said all information and data would be on open source, and at the time of vending, it will be made open and is also in digital format. And the idea is to tell the farmers or the users the strength of the fertilizer, the weakness of the fertilizers, its risk, and what are the impact that it will have.
Apart from informing the farmers and so on, he said the bill will also promote organic pesticides, which I think is a very welcome
and
move.
on that also there is a system to put registered dealers on this, and also a regulated advertisement so that there is no tall claims made by people in essence to capture and get more people to use it. And that is why the government wants to build that clause of strength and weaknesses, the data on the efficacy of the pesticide.
In any case, there's a great effort being made by all sections now to pay attention to organic food, and quite a few people are patronizing it, and they say that it is quite useful to use these organic foods.
And Mr. Javadekar did mention the fact that this is one more step by the Narendra Modi government for the welfare of farmers, and he mentioned that the first step was a soil health card, which the signature initiative undertaken. Almost 16 crores of farmers are now beneficiaries of that. And the second was the Kisan Samman, in which 10 crores people are benefiting. And he said the figure will go up to 14 crores as the registration numbers are going up. The third decision, again making a major change in some kind of a control of the ports. The minister mentioning that India has some 204 minor ports and 12 major ports, and 90% of our cargo is handled from these ports. But the last time we had a bill was the Major Ports Trust Act in 1963. The whole idea is to empower the major ports to perform with greater efficiency on account of full autonomy in the decision making and modernizing the institutional framework of the major ports.
This whole concept of not having trade with a country which is very far away. For example, for a long time, we did not have the kind of trade that we should really have with the Latin American countries. So I think India-Brazil trade has really picked up over the last decade or so. Prior to that, I think there was a huge problem on this whole aspect of distance between India and Brazil. But the efficacy of ports have come into play in a big way. And this is all the more true of the United States and several other countries in Europe and outside of it. Therefore, I think, yes, the efficacy of ports, you have to tap into the advantages of it. And India, given the major coastline that it has, I think the number of places where they have ships which can come and are small, really comparable to the size of the country, then I think a major thrust has to be given to this entire effect of building ports which can accommodate larger cargo vessels as well as the smaller ones. I think in the overall efforts to push up exports, I think the sea route cannot be brushed under the carpet.
And I think if you notice, and something which you mentioned in the beginning, major ports of the world, the turnaround time is much faster.
Very fast.
Very fast. And I think less than